Hey yo, what up, fans of the fucking sport? What up? It's Lamech with Selah Sports TV, back at it again. Cheer! Championship Sunday is almost upon us. I was about to say finally, but it's almost upon us, right? Couple more days, it'll be Championship Sunday. So we're gonna talk about the AFC Championship. People probably saying, well, why not talk about both championships? Well, I only care about the AFC Championship right now, right? That's the one. That's the one I'm focused on. Um, as far as football and the NFL in general, we this channel we gonna cover the Ravens and aspects that deal with the Ravens. So I'm not really looking at doing a whole video based off of NFC teams. But shout out to the NFC teams. Shout out to the Detroit Lions. Shout out to San Francisco 49ers. Hopefully Detroit will pull that game out. Not because I'm looking for a certain type of matchup. Actually, I think Detroit will probably be the tougher matchup. Probably. Um, I just think we like the 49ers, we would beat them up. Right. I don't feel like they're as physical. They're not as physical as we are, and we would beat them up. But I'm pulling for Detroit because they're kind of like us. Well, not franchise wise, but as a city, Detroit, the city, is kind of like us, kind of underdog, kind of marginalized, things like that. Um, just like Baltimore, right? Now, Baltimore Ravens franchise, not so much, right? You've been one of the premier franchises in the NFL, but you know that I'm okay with whatever. I guess that's the main thing. I'm okay with whatever happens on that NFC. I feel really confident with whatever goes on in the NFC. I feel like this AFC Championship is the toughest game we have left. Right? It's the toughest game we have left. I don't think if you put all our games on the schedule, if you put all of them on paper, I don't think this Chiefs game is our toughest game. I don't. Now, with that said, we are facing a fucking champion, right? We are facing a champion. So maybe I need to hold off on that prior statement because one thing about facing the champion, they're not trying to give up their spot, right? Champions usually go down in a dogfight, right? Um, they are gonna come out kicking, scratching, clawing, trying to get away with everything they can, and we need to be doing the same thing as a team. So um, it's looking like it's gonna be a good game, right? But who knows? Who knows what the game? We don't know what will happen when the game starts. That's the beauty of all of this, right? That's the beauty of that feeling that you have right now. If you're into playoff football, like it ain't too many things that's unscripted in the world. And shit, we even got to keep an eye on this, because a lot of things in the world are scripted. A lot of things in the world are fucking programmed. It ain't too many things that aren't. So whenever we do come across things that are real, right? Things that are real, things where uh, you know, um, the results are hanging in the balance, that type shit. Those are the things that that get our blood boiling, right? Those are the things that get the hair on the back of our neck standing up. It's exciting. So let's talk about this game, shall we? Um, much talked about game between the Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. Two teams have two superstar quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson, one-time MVP, uh, and Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs, two-time MVP, two-time Super Bowl champion. Right, highly decorated guy. Right. Um, these are I would say, the premier quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Um, but the way people have talked about this game, you would think that, they'll be facing off against each other when they absolutely won't be. Won't be. Now, little fun thought that I had just thinking about this game, because it's football. Like, we're used to the NFL, but there was, Little League is not run like the NFL, right? Okay, Captain Obvious, right? Why, Lamech, why are you telling us Little League is not like the NFL? Well, in Little League, you get a lot, like, you have to be a complete football player, right? And I'm going somewhere with this, so follow me. Like, that's what I think of. When I think of Lamar Jackson, I just think of, like, I see a kid who has probably had a football in his hand since he was a fucking baby, right? Like, when I see him, he just exudes football, right? Like, he talks football, he looks football, like, the way he moves is like, it's football movement. Everything he does is football, and it's really, it's kind of astounding, really, because I'm trying to think, have I ever felt like that about any other player? Like Deion Sanders, I guess he comes the closest to that, right? Just where um everything just seems like it comes effortlessly to him on the football field, Um almost like phenomenal, you know. And the reason why I say that about Lamar is because, like, it's true. Like, things just come really, really easy for him. And that can be a gift and a curse. That can be a gift and a curse. When things come, uh when you sometimes when players are gifted like that in a crazy way, like guys like that, like Lamar Jackson, you got guys like LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, the names. Um that could go two ways, right? And it seems like it depends on who the guy has around him. And what do I mean? Like, the guy he's either gonna become a leader, right? And start galvanizing guys around him, or he'll become like a LeBron James, where, you know, everything has to serve him, and when it doesn't, it's this person's fault, that person's fault, this person's fault. So, um, that's another video. I have been thinking about that video. It will be coming, but we're not going to do that now. My point is that Lamar Jackson, if football was a one-on-one sport, Lamar Jackson would destroy Patrick Mahomes. I think we all know that, right? I don't give a fuck who you're a fan of. Like, if these guys had to guard each other one-on-one, like if football was a one-on-one sport, it wouldn't be close. But here's the thing. Football's not a one-on-one sport. It's actually the opposite. It's the opposite of a one-on-one sport. It's the ultimate team sport. The ultimate. Football's the ultimate team sport. You can draw up the perfect play and have that motherfucker dialed up perfectly, right? You know the team is gonna blitz. You know what they're gonna do. You've seen them line up this way before. You know what they're gonna do. You tell your team in the huddle, look, this is what they're gonna do. All we gotta do is run this fucking play, right? You got everything working. You run this play, you're gonna get big yards, big chunk yards, right? Quarterback snaps the ball. One of your linemen slip and fall, loses his balance. There goes protection. There goes the fucking play. Ultimate team sport. You need everybody working in unison. You need everybody working in tandem, right? One weak link will blow up the whole play, right? How many times have we seen a play get off and everything's going smooth? Quarterback, he's throwing the ball to a wide open guy, or what looks like a wide open guy, but the receiver slips and falls. Ball goes right to the other team. right? Shit happens. Shit happens. So, before I get lost in the fucking weeds, let's get into some foresight for this game. I actually see. I don't see the Chiefs. It's been much talked about the Chiefs' offense is not operating. Hasn't been operating at a high level, and it's true. It's really true. It's not so much that those guys are operating at such a low level. They've lost a lot. Like us as Ravens fans, we know we should know. Like we're sitting here crossing our fingers, hoping that we can keep our coordinators, right? We can keep our OC and our DC. We've been crossing our fingers hoping for that. Well, the Chiefs lost their offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, right? They lost that guy. Now you can rate him wherever you want to rate him. The fact of the matter is he was there all those years, and when he left, their offense took a step back. And frankly, I don't even. This ain't one of those things where I'm trying to take a shot at Patty Mahomes, right? Like coaching in the NFL is important. They lay the structure, they lay the groundwork, they draw up plays, they give the concepts, everything. So when you remove that, yeah, it's like almost like starting over. So of course, they've taken a small step back. But here's what I'll say about the Chiefs offense. They're picking up steam now. Like the goal, like if the goal is to be playing well at the end of the season, the Chiefs offense is playing pretty well at the end of the season. Now, there's a couple caveats to that. They've been going up against some really, really banged up defenses. They played Miami in the first round. Miami's defense is injured, right? They're missing a lot of their top guys, right? And then last week they played Buffalo, whose whole defense was injured. So yeah, they've been looking good, but it's levels to it, right? The defenses they played weren't exactly the Ravens. The defenses they played were not exactly the Ravens, right? Um, so here's what I got for the Chiefs. I do see them going to the running game. They're gonna use Pacheco, and as long as the game is close, and I'm talking about the actual score, as long as the actual scoreboard is close, Pacheco will be a threat. They will keep him. They will use him. They're gonna do everything they can. They're gonna do everything in their power to keep themselves from being one-dimensional. They're going to do everything in their power to keep Mahomes from having to line up in the shotgun every play and throw the ball every play. Right? As crazy as that sounds, that's not what they want. That fits right into what our defense is built for. Right? What they want to do is keep that game close where where Pacheco will always be a threat. And play action it'll just make their passing game that much more dangerous, right? As long as they can use play action, that's what they want to do. So they're gonna try to keep that running game alive, the whole game. Now, Pacheco, a lot of people are real high on this guy. I think he's a solid player. He reminds me of running back used to play for the Dallas Cowboys, Marion Barber. He reminds me of him. Just like a real battering ram type of guy, right? And it can be effective. It can definitely be effective, right, against certain teams. Absolutely. But again, it's levels. It depends on who you're going up against. The Ravens front, we got Pierce and Matabike, we got a pretty stout front, and then you got PQ and Roquan Smith behind them. So good luck with using Pacheco as a battering ram, right? The guy has no wiggle. Now, if he had that wiggle, that's different. But he pretty much runs in a straight line. I just don't see our guys getting battered like that. I don't see it. I don't see it. So, but here's the thing about Pacheco. If you do not, if you don't get him bottled up, if you don't get him tackled, and you let him start getting off, oh yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I'll say this: if Pacheco gets 100 yards, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game for the Ravens to win, right? Because if he's getting 100 yards 9 times out of 10, that means it's going to be, that game is very, very close, right? That means they're playing the style that they want to play. And if he's getting 100 yards, that means they're probably using a lot of play action as well. That's not what we want, right? We want to turn them into a one-dimensional team, just like we've done everybody else, right? Elephant in the room this week, especially going up against the Chiefs, is they got some injuries, right? They got some injuries. Now, before I even get into the injuries, I'm going to just throw it out there. Like, I don't give a fuck. We need to go out there and play those guys as if they're 100%, right? We need to play against them as if they're 100%. We need to have that healthy fear of them as if they're 100%. Healthy fear, right? That means just take them seriously. We're not going out there and say, oh, these guys banged up, man. They all fucked up, banged up, injured. No, don't go out there like that, because they're still the champs. They will dig down deep and surprise you and get you the fuck up out of there. And we ain't doing that this week. We're not doing that. So they got all-pro guard Tooney is out. Or at least he's hurt. He has a pec injury, which is like, I mean, you could play, but damn, can you really play? Can you play guard with a pec injury? Either way, whether he plays or doesn't play, that's a weakness. That's a fucking weakness, right? Like everybody knows their guard center guard combination has been really good this year. That's where they've been good. But once you start knocking one of those guys off, what did I say? What did I say earlier? It only takes one thing to knock off a play, right? So you take one of their best linemen and pull him out of there, and hey, that just increases your chances that much more. William Gay, I believe, is banged up. I expect William Gay to play, but all these things we just got to take advantage of. None of this really matters if you're not prepared to go in there and take advantage of these guys. Got to go in there and take advantage of these guys. Let's flip it to the Baltimore Ravens offense. Okay. Baltimore Ravens offense, I believe the Baltimore Ravens, period, with this particular team, it's almost like a college team. And the reason why I say that is like they are put together. It just seems like they're put together to dominate these games. The reason why I'm saying that, I mean, that's very easy to say. You're probably like, well, that's not really a take. Well, it is. And here's why I'm saying it. You got a guy, Lamar Jackson, right? Everybody knows what he can do with his legs. Everybody knows how he can move out there. Everybody knows how he can throw and run, everything like that. So you surround him with a bunch of weapons. Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers, Rashard Bateman. You got great tight ends, right? You got great tight ends, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews. You got good running backs, Gus Edwards. You had Keaton Mitchell. Now you got Dalvin Cook. You got Justice Hill. All these guys are weapons. All these guys can hurt you. right? So it's almost like the Ravens put you in a situation where you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. How you want to play? Do you want to um all right, do you want to take Bill Polian's advice and keep Lamar in the pocket, right? And just rush four? You want to rush four, keep him in the pocket, and let these wide receivers just run wild and dare him to throw him the ball? Okay. I've seen him do it, and I've seen him do that for big yards in the passing game, right? You want to put a spy on him, which here's the thing about putting a spy on Lamar Jackson. It's never really just one spy. If you really look at it, is you one spy ain't gonna do it. Right? You want to do that? Okay. You can do that. Right? But it's definitely a sacrifice. You want to blitz every down? You want to not blitz? It doesn't really matter. This offense can punish you. It took Lamar Jackson some time. It took, I would say the team. Because as long as Greg Roman was the coordinator, and I'm not this ain't me slamming Greg Roman, it's just me acknowledging his system. His system this isn't what he does. Right? So if this is what you wanted, Greg Roman was going to have to be moved. You know? But as far as that Chiefs defense, very, very sound defensively. They're more built to stop the pass. Personally, I'm okay with Lamar Jackson having another game like he had last week. See, here's the thing with Lamar Jackson. And he has to stay mindful of this at all times. He got to be mindful of what he wants. Do you want to be a winner? Right? You want to collect Super Bowls and be a winner? Or do you want to have the gaudy passing stats? Right? Like Josh Allen. And it's not like the two things are mutually exclusive for everybody. It's not. But for him, they could be. I'm not even going to say it is. But it could be. Why am I saying that? Because I touched on it in the beginning of this when I started talking about the offense. Lamar Jackson, when he's playing that perfect balance game of, yeah, I'm gonna use my feet to pick up these first downs, and I'm gonna throw the ball, and I'm gonna use everything, and I'm not really chasing stats, and like I'm just gonna make the play that needs to be made. Right? If he's gonna do that and not turn the ball over, the Ravens will be especially with this defense in place, almost impossible to beat. Almost impossible. So I'm giving away little nooks about my prediction here, right? But the reason why I'm going about it this way, I just want to lay out the dominance of this team. Yeah, they could go out there and throw a fucking stinker up, right? But that's what it's going to take for them to lose. They're going to have to go out there and throw up a stinker. The Ravens. The Ravens are going to have to go out there and have multiple turnovers, which turnovers are the great equalizer. I mean, I don't give a fuck how great your team is. You go out there, turn the ball over, you will lose to the worst team. That's how it works, especially if you're fumbling. Especially if you're fumbling. But really, any turnover, really. Turnovers are the equalizer. It doesn't matter how much better you are than the team. If you're giving them the ball, they're gonna whip your ass. Right? So I expect that first half to be kind of nip and tuck. Right? We'll be feeling each other out and They'll make some plays. We'll make some plays. I expect it to be sort of close in the first half, you know. But like I said, I expect the running game to continue. I expect the points to keep piling up. Shout out to John Harbaugh because that's a big part of Ravens' success this year. John Harbaugh taking field goals has delivered us so many wins. Whereas in the past, him not taking those points has cost us so many losses. Like a lot. A lot of losses. And I get it. In the past, we haven't always had the defense that we have now. So it was harder for him to have the confidence in those guys. A lot of times he felt like he had to go for it, right? Whether he really should have did that or not, he felt he needed to because he didn't trust the defense, for lack of a better word. Well, those days are over, right? And I felt good I can't remember, it was during one of the last games in the regular season, and we're up near the team's goal line, and we couldn't get it done, right? We couldn't get it done. We on like the 2 or 3 yard line, and Lamar Jackson, the offense, could not punch the ball in the end zone. Harbaugh sent out the field goal unit right there from the 2 or 3 yard line. I love that call. Yes, Lamar Jackson was pissed, but it was the absolute right play. It was fourth quarter. I believe we had like a 10-point lead, something like that. Yeah, you take those 3 points. So shout out to John Harbaugh and really the entire coaching staff. Really, really looking forward to this game. Not concerned about the officiating. Yeah, look, the officials, they'll get like 1 or 2 chances to eliminate a play. We go down, make a big play, they throw a flag, and that's just a mental thing, a mental game. You got to go back and do it again. Right? You got to go back and do it again. I don't think it's enough cheating in the world for the Chiefs to beat us in this game. I don't. And this points to why I prefer to match up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Like if the Bills had beaten the Chiefs, that would have given them tremendous momentum. They would feel like, hey, we beat the champions, so we good. That gives them that much momentum, right? No. We will eliminate the champions, right? We will do it. Honestly, I think it's going to be a rough game for Patrick Mahomes. Everybody knows how great he is, right? I think it's going to be a rough game for him. One thing I do see him having some success with. Nobody knows Patrick Mahomes as like some big time QB scrambler, runner, but he can run. He can run. How many times have we seen him getting big yards, running? Because you playing man-to-man and lose track of him. So he gets 20, 30 yards down the fucking sideline. I expect Patrick, because that's the thing that is going to be open in this game. I think that will be one opening. You can't cover everything, right? I think Patrick Mahomes will pick up some yards with his feet, at least early. I think he'll do that. But again, I just predict that we keep piling these points up. I don't think their defense will be able to shut us down. I think we will move the ball. With Lamar playing the way he's playing and not playing hero ball, and he's just making the right football play. Not just the right one, but the perfect football play. Kind of reminds me of T. Martin. I was a big T. Martin fan when he was at Tennessee. I was a big T. Martin fan, huge T. Martin fan back then. And he just made all the right plays back then. And Lamar Jackson is like, they're very similar. Of course, Lamar Jackson is a greater player, right? I'm just talking about the play style. The play style, very similar. So as for my predictions, I got the Ravens 31-17. Ravens win 31-17 and go to the Super Bowl. That's my pick. If you like the video, go ahead and bang off on that like button one time.